So, yeah, first of all, right here, pre-recorded. So y'all know, pre-recorded video. I'm going to be finishing up a piece for Replicator Rob's Replicator comic book. Pretty far in it, got a little bit of work done. I don't want to really be interrupted because some of this stuff is, that's why I'm not doing it live. Some of this stuff is nerve-wracking, painstaking, whatnot. This is about where I'm at right now, so I'm going to finish this up. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. Yeah, again, sorry, not doing it live. If I was, this would probably take me about 2 hours. I'm assuming it right now is probably going to take about less than an hour, hopefully. So, yeah, let me go and flip this over here. There we go. All right. So as you can see, this is where I'm at. When I do pencils, inks, whatever, I do tend to have a book out. Book of choice today, Wildcats 19, Pencil by Jim Lee, Finishes by Richard Bennett. Pretty awesome. I'm just kind of looking at it for some of the different texture stuff that he did in here. Some of the line variation, of course. Yada, yada. It's a good book. So, and I have a little bit of a head cold that has never gone away. So I'm gonna try to knock this out. Call it a night. Might do a live stream after this. Just depends. Yeah, this kind of stuff here, this is not something I can really do comfortably with you know, with chat and all that. I finished up all of my, a little bit of Hunt 102 and the outlines, a lot of the rendering and stuff. I'm moving to fine liners because this is all technical stuff. I wanted to have a little bit of a deadline approach. Not too flashy. A lot of straight edges, things like that going on here. So. You know, this piece, I think I did the faces first. Actually, no, I did this character up here first, and then kind of worked my way back towards her. But at some point I stopped and I just started doing all the faces just to kind of make sure that there was a little bit of consistency with my approach. As usual, I do tend to hijack stuff a little bit, so there's a little bit of Shelby going on. I'm sure if you compare it to the pencils, it might actually be more than what I think. But it's a good looking piece. I forgot the name of the artist on this. This is not my pencils, it's just my inks. But the style reminds me kind of, it's got a little bit of a Jim Lee tone to it, but I don't know. little bit of like a Will Spartaccio look mixed with a little bit of Jim. Definitely more on the, if I was to compare it to a 90s studio, I would say Wildstorm for sure. There are a few things in here that I did catch that reminded me a lot of early, like Ryan Benjamin stuff that I remember collecting way back many years ago. So again, got a lot of very cool style choices going on in here. The shading, the rendering in here is insane. There's a lot of stop and go because of a lot of minute detail, but not anything I can't handle. And I'm assuming the original pencils were traditional because most of this reminds me of my own. Like I use a technical Zebra 0.5, and the line weights to this feel very similar to what I end up with on my own pencils. So. There are some aspects of these pencils, though, that I do notice for myself, at least, are kind of open for interpretation. I might make a video about that later. Sometimes artists tend to draw stuff that kind of streamlines next to other lines and things like that, and then it kind of can be difficult to catch whether or not it's supposed to be part of a foreground figure or possibly rendering detail of something behind them. Just because of like weird angles, stuff can get tucked behind or in front of stuff. And I did catch myself a few times having to recheck stuff, which is never any fun. The original source line art, and yeah, I think with a lot of pencilers, the more experience they get, the less they're likely to do that sort of thing. It's a pretty common thing in comics. It'd be like, you could have something that kind of ends, an object that ends here, but perhaps the edge of it kind of runs into the edge of something behind it or in front of it. And so you're not sure if it's a continuous object or if this thing is separated from this thing behind it. And there was actually quite a bit of that going on within this area. I did a little bit of you can't really see it that well. There does exist a ghost line around this entire figure right here from anything in the back. There's only one or two spots where the lines actually connect with his outline. And the same with this character here. There's just a little bit, and then I had to go very, very hard on the outline here because these guns are literally, if you straighten them out, they run right next to each other like this. So this one here is going the same direction, this direction, that this one is going this direction. And that's just kind of what I'm talking about a little bit. In the pencil form, it was very, I originally thought maybe this was an extension of this here, but then I realized he's holding one here because of that trigger right there. So then I had to kind of look at it and figure out, I'm like, okay, well, this is the clip, here's the front, maybe a sight. Yeah, so it's strange. I've never seen this 20, 27, 28 years in comics. I've never seen that. This is the first time I've ever seen two weapons where there is not enough of a differential where they don't look like they're the exact same weapon possibly. So I almost goofed it right there. I almost accidentally extended it, and you know, I was thinking maybe of fixing this. I thought maybe something here had happened where it was forgotten to be illustrated, so I was going to actually extend this out to this area here, because that's what my eyeballs told me was correct. But again, it's, you know, it's just something with, I know, newer pencilers, it happens a lot. And also, I'm old. When you're older, you forget that sometimes people don't think exactly the same way, laying stuff out. And I do a little bit of this too, by the way. I like to jump around on the piece a little bit. Right now I'm using the 2. Just a little 2. It's for all the rinky-dink stuff in the background. But yeah, overall, this is a very, very strong illustration. So I think Rob's very fortunate to have this piece for his next, I believe this is for his next campaign. It's another obstacle. Doing inks on someone else's work is not being in their head, so you're not sure exactly sometimes what everything is. And there's some aspects of the tech in here that I know definitely kind of second guess. Little panels and things on certain items. So I don't know what's actually, I guess I'm saying I don't know what's actually like canon to a character or whatnot for some of these characters involved in this piece. So just try to make sure it stays interesting. And try try to follow as closely as you can to the design work. I imagine I've not been on a book for like very long at all, like you know, multi issues as far as like doing inks sort of thing. But I imagine after a certain amount of time, you know, you're going to get more used to the line artist and kind of what their approach is with certain characters and tech and stuff like that, and then it would become a little bit easier. But a lot of the stuff, inking someone the first time, especially on characters that you're not familiar with at all, you know, it's kind of shots in the dark sometimes. Different aspects of it, not everything. Some of it is just intuition as well, just kind of knowing that, you know, maybe certain stuff was not meant to be a certain thing, and you know, just to keep it loose as originally drawn. And let it get figured out elsewhere, the colorist or whatever. I'm going to do something here I generally don't do, but only because these starts and stops are going to be a little bit difficult. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this thing completely through right here. And there's actually supposed to be breaks. Between it. And really just going to bring some white out through here, like so. And voila, they're pretty consistent. I'm going to show you what I did right there. So you can do it sometimes, get away with it. What I did right there was I drew those rectangles in the form of one long bar. I drew the separating bars between it, and then I just brought white out to get rid of the ongoing lines, and they're super consistent. But yeah, sometimes you just got to do that kind of thing, and it just ends up looking better than if you just kind of, you know, just dashed everything separately. Yeah, so yeah, I'm probably gonna do the same thing right here as well. And I don't know if that's like a common, like an inker's thing or not. It's something I do to my own work, is why it popped into my head right now. When I need lines that run parallel together that need breaks, line breaks, It's something I do to my own stuff, so I just kind of figured, like, yeah, I'll do it right here. Why not? A lot of itty bitty detail right there. Itty bitty. And there we go. Did it again right there. Just to break the lines up. Sorry, I'm not recording this in OBS. I'm having an issue getting my audio to actually work. I did some weird update that they recommended, and now the audio is not registering at all through any device. Otherwise, I'd have a crisp, clear image to show right here. So sorry about that. That happened a few months ago too. They did some update that essentially just screwed the program for a few weeks for me, and then it just fixed itself somehow. So I went in and played with the settings a little bit and tried to change the audio setup and the settings and all that, and I just reverted it back to where it was. I'm like, well, whatever the issue is, I'm sure they're going to hear it from other people, and they'll probably fix it up. That's one of the hardest things with a lot of these programs is you'll immediately think it's something you can fix, and then before you know it, you've altered the program to a degree where you just almost have to reset installation defaults. When the whole time really you should have just sat back and let them fix it. And I'm just going to look this over. I think I need to hit some of this outfit here. He's got, I'm assuming, because it was sketched in, so I'm just going to kind of fake it. There was some camouflage. They got some camo stuff going on. So I'll just indicate at it, and then colorist can delegate where it actually lands. I did it a bit on these foreground characters, but not too heavy. All right, so let's see that. This looks good. It's pretty good. It's always good to check your work twice and stuff. It's very easy. I've had several pieces in the past where I've scanned them, and then I realized, like, oh crap, I forgot to ink that smoke, or I forgot, there's some very, very tiny section that for whatever reason was like super easy to miss. So that's one of the dangers of the way that I work too, where a lot of people work, just forgetting, just simply forgetting to do one thing that you try to remember to do, but because you jump around when you work. All this stuff looks pretty good. But yes, super detailed. This is probably one of the most detailed pieces I think that I've ever inked up for somebody else. Very good line art. Like I said, just a few hiccups for me visually. Not a mess up or anything like that. It's just you're working with busy characters. Everything overlaps. Everything kind of runs together. Very easy to get lost in it. And a lot of this you see here, that's actually non-photo blue from the original line art. It was not intended to be a pencil line. It just was part of the blue with the layout. There's a lot of the way he works. I noticed there's a lot of loose pencils, like here in the hip. There's a lot of loose pencils that we're not committed to, and then you see him commit on the darker lines that kind of run right, adjacent to those loose lines. And it's common, very common in comics with pencilers. It only gets confusing if there's solid lines clearly overlapping other solid lines where possibly, there was something supposed to be erased or deleted from that area. And that's part of inking, though. If you're inking someone else, you kind of have to make those choices sometimes of what to keep, what to use, what to not ink. Or just ink everything. So that's part of it too, is you don't all, you're not necessarily doing the artwork a service by doing that either. So some artist work is crazy busy, super busy, and actually benefits from you cleaning it up a little bit on the inking side. All right, I'm trying to find a template here. This may work here. She's got some oval stuff going on in this area here. And I'm just using this little 0-1 liner and then building my lines as I go. This arm thing she's got going on here, there's a lot of detail within the detail, and I really am trying to not make anything muddy by accidentally, throwing a fat line over something that's supposed to have, duplicate lines running next to each other. Trying to keep it as true to the original as possible, and also not letting it be too muddy. These decisions are a lot easier on pieces not as complicated as this specific pinup piece here. Overall, then, this has been a fun piece to work on. Very aesthetically pleasing. Yeah, these troops are, like crazy cool emotions. The faces look fun. A little bit of action here with her kick and her firing off these things here. The chop shop fun right there. Yeah, so it's a fun piece. I do wish I was a little bit faster and efficient with pieces like this. They are very time consuming when they're this heavily rendered. I keep hearing that the more you do, the faster you get, but I've yet to see that with myself. Alright, that's pretty cool. I think I'm gonna run a thicker line along the edge of the bottom of it, just to kind of push it in the foreground. And also, I'm kind of looking at it right next to me, done very effectively in the Richard Bennett finishes over this Gimli pencil work. So looks cool. As long as it looks cool, right? And I'm gonna go the bottom side of the fist there. All right, that's pretty good there. Like that. I feel like there's no way this is done yet, but it might be. Just going to give it a quick glance over, make sure I didn't forget anything again. Did forget that. There you go. All right, let's see. It'd be really easy to forget something on these soldiers, I know that. They all got 30 pouches each, and camouflage, and weapons, and lots of shaded military uniforms. Made myself a Ovaltine with almond milk, and it's really hard to get used to. I gave it about a week without having it again, and it's just not good. I've had to cut milk and apples out of my diet. And I'm going to say there is no substitute for whole milk. There's zero substitute. There are other things you can use, but they're just not. They're not good. We got some. Let's see. We got oat milk. I tried it. It's okay. But again, it's like I'm seeking a substitute. It just doesn't exist. Right now I'm just noodling, pretty much. Okay, I'm gonna put this away. I'm just gonna look at this, see where we're at. See, that looks good. And it's pretty much done. Yeah, I don't see much of anything I can really do here or there. I'll add a little bit of grit down here by her shoe, just kicking that guy's teeth in. I think he swallowed 2 of them. Grip this up a bit. This guy losing his head. All right. All right. Call me quits. That's it. All right. So this is the piece by me, and who is the penciler of this? Oh, I believe it's Alan Goldman. Alan Goldman, I believe. So anyways, been seeing this specific artist. I've been seeing their stuff popping up on different social medias. Got my little autograph there. I'm probably going to alter this in Photoshop on the file so it's scooched and a little more legible. This right here, I believe, is his autograph right there. I used a circle and a line template for that specifically. Yeah, not a lot of room for signatures there. I kind of had to open up an area with white for my little shelb. Yeah, but it's a cool piece. Cool piece, fun. A handful of hours, more than a handful of hours spent on this right here. More than I anticipated. So yeah, there's that. All right. And then again, I'm going to remind you again, I put an update out. A secret perk added to RAGETALITY WAR. Still in demand, still collecting backers. I am one backer away from 540 backers. Currently at $36,392 total funding on this project right here. Still being worked on, still being colored. Adding more pages to it. It's going to be about, it's over 100 pages, to be honest. Over 100 pages of content. But yeah, the new update was specifically for anyone who forgot to add the ash cans if they wanted them. I had several emails inquiring if there was any way they could add it to their back. And I was like, well, you know what? I made a secret perk for people who've already backed the campaign that missed out or wanted extra copies. Whatever the reasoning is, it's for this 3 ash can set. I think it's a $15, no additional shipping added to it. And it'll ship with your original perk item. So it's these 3 books here. They're ash can size, or black and white, 16 pages each. So it's an additional 48 pages. It's a ton of work. This entire campaign is about 2.5 campaigns worth of products. So yeah, you get a ton of additional stuff. Some of the preview pages I've had since the launch right here. These are interiors to some of the ash can books right here. Yeah, ton of trading cards, stickers, poker chip. Yeah, couple free ash cans, sketchbooks, things like that. So yeah, if you haven't backed that, AmericanDiscord.com. Yeah, you go to AmericanDiscord.com and grab that. Or in the description below. I'm putting this up on YouTube right now, so I'm going to end this.